We're now going to look at something called a function. And the function we're going to use here is called sum. S-U-M. Sum, as you probably guess, is going to add up everything or add up a bunch of numbers.
We're going to look at a quick, convenient way to add up a bunch of numbers at one time. Functions are tools in spreadsheets that are one-word math shortcuts. Basically, with that one word, you can combine more than one formula and perform them all at once. And they are just used in spreadsheets. The function we're going to look at today is one of the most common ones used, and that is sum. And that is a shortcut for basically adding several numbers or a bunch of numbers together. Say you go to a family dinner and you ask, hey, who's coming? And they tell you, oh, it's going to be Fran and their two kids. Oh, but no, the other one's at school. And Mark is going to be there and his kids, but not his kid's wife. And they just keep going on. And you say, hey, just give me the total. You could, on a spreadsheet, write all of that information in. And if you wanted to compute, figure out how many people are coming, you could add each individual number. In this equation, we are going to add them all one at a time, equals what's Jane's number plus Fran's number plus Mark's number. So we're adding the cell addresses one at a time, B2 plus B3 plus B4. But a shortcut for this is just to use the function sum, your one-word adding tool. To use this in a spreadsheet, you would type the word sum, and then you need a set of parentheses. And in those parentheses, you're going to tell what to sum, the first number to the last number. In this example, the first number is Jane's number, and the last number is Myra's number. But Jane and Myra aren't numbers, so we're going to tell the cell addresses. You have to use cell addresses with a function. You cannot use numbers. So we're going to start with the first cell address is B2 to the last cell address, which is B6. Now in spreadsheets, the word to is not a math term. And we can't use the dash because we use that to subtract. In a spreadsheet, to indicate the first cell to the last cell, we use the colon, which is the key that is 2 keys away, 2 keys to the left of your enter key. So in the parentheses, we are telling the spreadsheet, sum up everything starting from B2 all the way to B6. That colon indicates everything in between. And lastly, all formulas have to start with the equal sign in a spreadsheet. So before we can even type the word sum for the function and the range of cells that we're going to use in the function, we have to start with the equal sign. The equal sign for spreadsheets is a trigger to let the spreadsheet know, hey, we are about to do something with some numbers.
To start a function, to use a function, we start with the equal sign. With all formulas, we start with the equal sign. Notice, Sheets wants to help you. Sheets filled it all in for you. Tentatively, if we start typing, what Sheets filled in will go away. Let's go ahead and see what Sheets wants to do. We type in an equal. Sheet looks at the cells that are around when you start a calculation and gives you a suggestion. This is saying, hey, I see a bunch of numbers to the left. Do you want to sum them up? And we do. But let's type it in ourselves anyway. So we start a formula with the equal sign. Always, always. That's the trigger that lets the spreadsheet know that we're going to do some calculation. Yes, Sheets did type in the formula for us, but we're going to ignore it right now. We'll come back to that. So we're going to type in the name of the function, sum, because we want to sum up a bunch of numbers. We're going to type in the open parentheses, that's shift and the 9. Then with the mouse, we're going to select the range that we want. We're going to select all the cells that we want to sum up, starting from the first cell, which is January, our first income in January, or our first job income in January. And we're going to drag the mouse all the way across to the last cell in the range, which will be December, and then let go. And then we're going to type the close parentheses, shift and a 0. That's it, and hit enter. We have now added up all the numbers from January, all the job earnings numbers from January to December without having to type in equals this one plus this one plus this one plus this one plus this one. That takes so much longer, yeah? I'm going to hit escape and ignore that formula. Sum is a faster way. It's a shortcut for adding a bunch of numbers, but you can only do one row or one column at a time. Let's do our Etsy numbers. I'm going to click in the cell where we want the sum to appear. That's where you have to start. You cannot start by selecting. You start by picking the cell where you want the total to appear. Type the equal sign to start a formula. Now, Sheets has already put in the formula for us. And that is the right formula. Equals sum. And you see there's an outline of the cells, the range or the group of cells that it's going to add for us. The yellow line is going to add cells in B4, that January number, to M4. Sheets and other spreadsheets like to try to help you. It will, when you start a formula, the spreadsheet will often look at the cells that are neighboring and see, hey, what makes sense? Logically, maybe you want to do this, or maybe you want to do that. And it will suggest a function or a formula for you. Not always, but often enough. And in this case, it looks logical. This is a type of spreadsheet that's common. So Sheets knows, hey, it's very likely that they want to add up the numbers going across. So if Sheets makes a suggestion and you like this suggestion, you don't have to do any more typing. You can just hit enter. And we'll do that right now. But make sure that suggestion is what you want to see in that cell. Sometimes the suggestion is not what you're looking for, and it doesn't make sense. All right, so we have for 2024, we have our total of our job earnings. We have our total of our Etsy income. Let's create a total here. And you know what? We could do it one of two ways. We could total everything across, or we could total it up and down. You'll get the same number. But let's use our sum function again, just for grins and giggles. We start a formula with the equal key. It filled it in. Sheets filled in the formula for us, which is sum. I'm just going to type it in this time. Open parentheses. And I want to sum all the cells in the total income row from January to December. Remember, one row or one column at a time. Close parentheses and hit enter. That is our total income for the year. And it's not green like these, so let's make it green. I'm going to click on that cell. Over here's our font color, text color. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to select green. So we're matching. Let's do sums going across for our expenses. And for the rent, we're going to click in the cell that's under the 2024, our annual total, equal. Let's look at that formula. Is that right? Is that what we want? From B8 to M8? Yep. Enter. Now, can you copy and paste? Yeah, we can copy and paste also. There's more than one way to do so many things. So I'm going to click on the cell I want to copy, edit, copy. I'm going to click in the cell where I want it to appear, edit, paste. That will work. And if you look in the formula bar, it just copied the function that we used in the other cells. Let's go back. I'm going to just type it in again. Equals sum. That formula looks right. And hit enter. I'm going to type the equal sign, and I'm going to type SUM, open parentheses. I'm going to select the cells that I want to sum up, add up. Notice sometimes I go a little bit too far up or down. My hand is moving around a lot. All you got to do is just don't let go of the mouse. Don't let go of that left mouse button until you're ready. Close parentheses, hit enter. Do it one more time. Start with the equal sign. I'm going to type in the word SUM, shift, left parentheses. I'm going to use my mouse and select the cells that I want in the range for sum to add up. Shift, close. One more time. I am going to watch what happens this time though, because I didn't copy and paste, because we're not copying and pasting. I'm typing the equal. So look at that. We got a suggestion. Sheets looked at the numbers that are surrounding, and Sheets said, hey, I think you want to add up all these numbers that are above me, and put in a formula that added those numbers. And that formula does work. We've done that before. That formula that it has, it did not use sum. Why? Because it looked at the formula that's in this cell. And that formula is M8 plus M9 plus M10 plus M11 plus M12. So Sheets assumed maybe we want to use this formula over here. And we could. That would work. Or we could use sum and add these all up. Or we could use equal and add them up one at a time. They all do the same thing. We're going to type in equal. We could use their formula, but just for grins, let's type in sum and open parentheses. Notice when I first started typing in sum, I get a lot of suggestions here. We're going to ignore those. And I'm just going to type sum, and I'm going to keep typing and ignore these suggestions because I know what I want. And you now know what you want. Sum, let's add them from the top this time. We selected the cells, close parentheses, enter. Let's format this to look the same. These are red. I'm going to click on this cell. I'm going to go to text color, select red, so it all matches. All right, this is looking nice. Leftover. What's left over? That's a formula. That formula takes the total income, B5, and subtracts from it the total expenses, B13. And we have this. This formula is going to be the same going across. So we'll copy it and paste it all the way across. And there we go. You know what? Just to make it clear for the budget, especially when we look at this later or we're showing somebody else, let's make the annual stand out from the months. We'll make this column stand out by selecting all the numbers in this column, and we'll make them all bold. So I click here and click bold. So we do have the leftover across the bottom is bold. And we have the annual number for each category in bold also. We're going to look at next a little bit more formatting to make this look clear when we print it, and that's by adding lines.